Good afternoon. Welcome to TV47 at 1. My name is Linda Alela. I'll be taking you through the news stories of the afternoon, even as we continue to prepare some more for you. We start off in Nanyuki, where tension remains high in the very same area as demonstrations against the proposed Ebola quarantine facility intensify. Police have moved in to disperse swelling crowds, but protesters remain defiant, insisting that the project poses unacceptable risks despite ongoing legal challenges and court orders suspending its implementation. The residents say the facility threatens the safety of families and the reputation of the area, while authorities maintain it is a necessary public health preparedness measure. Now, the situation remains fluid, with protests persisting and security presence steadily increasing around the county headquarters. The Institute of Social Accountability has unveiled what it calls the People's Budget, an alternative to the government's fiscal plan. The proposal aims to put citizen welfare, transparency and equitable resource allocation at the center of national priorities. Now, the public forum comes at a time when debates over the Finance Bill 2026 and Kenya's rising public debt dominate national discourse. Stakeholders say the People's Budget is designed to give citizens a stronger voice in shaping fiscal policy and holding leaders accountable.
6 billion, what deficit? And the deficit is 1.144 trillion. So that's the money that the government needs to raise to be able to finance this budget. And as the people, we are saying, how is it possible that your deficit has a deficit? Can your deficit have a deficit? Okay, let me break it down to you. Because as based budget, we're proposing a what? And this we are saying it's the ZBB, the zero-based budget. But sir, you look like you live in a bedsitter. Do you live in a bedsitter? You look like you live in a bedsitter. Where is that bedsitter located? In Ruaka. You look like a guy who lives in Ruaka. But let me ask you, let's break this math down to a bedsitter level. And we will call this the BBB, the bedsitter-based budget, okay? So the bedsitter-based budget is very simple. And it says that if, say for example, you're paid 13,000. Okay, you paid 13,000 to run your bedsitter. And you have a girlfriend, so you tell your girlfriend that you're not paid 13,000, you paid 15,000. What deficit do you have in that household? You have a deficit of 2,000. So you have the option of either going to Tala or Fuliza and getting the 2,000 to get to what you told your girlfriend that you earn per month to be able to account for that within the household. Okay? But you also sleep on the floor on that bedsitter. Do you sleep on the floor? I just don't want to assume that you sleep on the floor. You have what? Oh, he's cutting costs by number one, not having a girlfriend, and number two, by not having a bed or a mattress. So you sleep on the floor. It is true. I was right all along. But this is a smart man because he understands for you to run a bedsitter in Ruaka, you have to cut costs. This is a man who understands. But let's assume you are the president of an unnamed country in East Africa. And that country is a bedsitter in Ruaka that has no bed. So you sleep on the floor. But the first money that you get Instead of buying a bed and other household items, you go and buy a fridge using lipa mdogo.
All right, moving on. Early childhood teachers in Murang'a County have once again taken to the streets to demand better working conditions, accusing the county government of failing to honor promises made over the years. Our reporter Robert Gakure has more on that.
Songs and prayers echoed outside Murang'a County headquarters as ECD teachers staged demonstrations accusing the county government of continued oppression. On their knees at the gates, the teachers said repeated pleas for permanent and pensionable employment have been ignored despite numerous meetings and agreements.
Mwalimu wa Murang'a County ni mwalimu ameteseka sana. Hawezi kulipa nyumba, hawezi kulipa bills zake, hawezi funza watoto wake kwa sababu ya ile pesa analipwa.
They lament earning a flat monthly salary of 17,000 shillings regardless of qualifications, a move they say defies recommendations by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission.
Mwalimu analipwa 17,000 per month. Na kulingana na SRC, mwalimu anatakikana alipwe kulingana na kiwango kile amesoma. Huyu ni mwalimu amekuwa registered by the Teacher Service Commission kufunza.
Hata kwa banko hawezi enda kwa sababu anapatiwa contract, ni kama kurushiwa contract. Hawezi chukua hata loan ya kujisaidia ati anunue kitu ati inampatia pesa.
The teachers also raised alarm over a 4-year contract set to begin July 1st, 2026, claiming a clause bars them from pursuing complaints against the county once signed, which they describe as an attempt to silence their voices.
Na hatutarudi kazi mpaka tulipwe vile inafaa. Yes. Kama atawafundisha, awafundishe. Kama atawapatia uji, awapatie uji. Lakini sisi tunataka haki yetu.
Akatutumia contract ingine inasema ati ukisaini hiyo contract huwezi kuongea mpaka miaka 4 iishe. That is very unfair.
A section of Murang'a leaders pledged solidarity, urging the county to urgently address the teachers' demands. But county officials insist the matter is already captured in the 2026-2027 budget, promising salary adjustments and employment measures once it is approved. Robert Gakure, TV47, Murang'a.
Thank you, Robert, for that. Now, as debate over the finance bill gains momentum, the government is warning Kenyans against falling for misinformation circulating on social media. The government spokesperson Isaac Maora says several claims being shared online do not reflect the actual contents of the bill currently before Parliament. He is urging the public to rely on official government communication and parliamentary records for accurate information. Maora says misinformation risks creating unnecessary anxiety, especially on matters touching on taxation and the cost of living. He has also encouraged Kenyans to take advantage of the ongoing public participation process and submit their views before the legislative process is concluded.
The first bill, you realize that a lot of information that is out there is fake. There is nothing to do with the motor vehicle circulation tax. That's not true. There is no tax on bread. You know, there is no tax on mitumba. And what happened is that we had the white bill. But the bill that people are supposed to focus on is the green bill as published by the National Assembly. Because when a bill comes from the Treasury to the National Assembly, it's in white. You know, any bill that has not been published is in white anyway, even from a private member. Drawing my experience from being a legislator for 2 houses of parliament. So the green one. But even then, some of those proposals that may have been there were dropped. And further to it, currently the National Assembly is going around to get views from Kenyans. So you present your views. We just had a very robust meeting this morning with the National Treasury and the National Parliament and my office to discuss about these issues. And that is why we are giving that door, so that if you have something that you need to present and you feel it is offending in the bill, then we need to look at it. However, we need to strike a balance between because there are two sides to our development. How do we raise revenue to finance our development? We shall have the appropriations bill, what is popularly known as the budget, being read. But then how do you finance that very development? There must be a nexus, a balance. And I think ni vizuri tuseme hapa kabisa, like the way we used to say in the third administration, that kulipa ushuru ni kujitosheleza.
Global maritime disruptions along the Strait of Hormuz dominated discussions as President William Ruto met the Norwegian Ship Owners Association in Oslo. The leaders warned that instability in the strategic waterway carries far-reaching effects and economic implications, underscoring the urgency of strengthening maritime cooperation. Now, talks also focused on advancing Kenya's blue economy with emphasis on maritime tourism, shipbuilding and repair, and fisheries development. President Ruto highlighted Kenya's strategic position as a gateway to Eastern and Central Africa, saying it can be leveraged to expand maritime trade. The meeting further explored opportunities to create jobs for Kenyans in Norway maritime industry, while also deepening collaboration to boost Kenya's role in global shipping and ocean economy.
Are now working on Africa continental area, and I remember one occasion when we were trying to ship tea from Mombasa to Ghana. And it had to go somewhere in the Middle East fast. And it took 45 days, That presents an opportunity that there could be configurations on what new maritime routes can be established. And now with the challenge we have with that place called Hormuz, which has become famous all of a sudden. We didn't know about Hormuz until whatever happened in Iran happened. So I think it presents us with a new opportunity to look at what can Mombasa and your ports here, what can they do together? I know the CEO of our Mombasa, Kenya Ports Authority in Mombasa, and has been to see you people. They've been to Antwerp, they've been to many, and we're looking for partnerships.
I think the rule-based order we rely upon. The rise of substandard shipping practices is a threat to every foundation of maritime operations. It erodes trust, compromises safety, and puts the credibility of the entire system at risk. And Norway shares a firm and principled belief in a world order based on international law and in the importance of multilateral corporations.
The Kenya Extended Producer Responsibility Organization, KEPRO, has intensified efforts to raise awareness on waste management. The organization is calling on members of the public to separate waste responsibly to enhance recycling and reduce partnership with Nairobi City County. KEPRO has also launched a dry waste collection point in Kasarani constituency to promote sustainable waste management practices within the community.
Environmental awareness is quite important because first as an organization over the years we've come to realize that there is that information gap where while members of the public or the average resident in Nairobi knows what they should be doing as far as environmental stewardship is concerned, they lack the technical know-how and the capacity to be able to implement whatever we are teaching them as far as matters awareness situation is concerned.
So we have acknowledged that behavior change is the biggest challenge when it comes to how we dispose our waste properly at home, in our businesses, in the church, for example. So in this case, the message we are passing across is please ensure that you put it in a bin. And if you can, sort it. Just ensure you keep the environment clean. The biggest tragedy is to think that it's someone else's responsibility, but what we are saying is my waste, my responsibility.
All right, that story takes us for a quick short break. We still have more lined up for you, so stick around.
This June, step into a bigger entertainment experience with more to love on Us. We're talking more drama, more action, more unforgettable stories, all waiting for you.
All hands on deck.
We're opening up our world of entertainment so you can view more.
Good job, partner.
This June, pay for your current DStv subscription and we'll upgrade you at no extra cost.
Skia, ni juicy. Flavor zote tamu tena fruity. Yummy na flow kama maji, juu ni tamu kama sali. Ni juicy. Are you bored? Kuna vitu zinakuudhi, usijali my bro, hebu kama taka juicy juni.
Wale mpo tayari? Tupatane Mozart Bet Cup Finals.
Prince Inda, what do you think about this final?
Hey, finali zimeanza mapema.
Polisi na Tusker, hii ni mbaya. Tupatane Kwale Stadium.
Hey, wewe, unaona rika yako hapa nipatie ball. Bola iko ikuje kwako, ilikuwa iende kwa wale. Kwale Stadium. Na si iende kwa wale.
Mozart Bet Cup Final 2026. Tukutane Kwale Stadium.
Bila kupoteza wakati, tupatane Kwale Stadium.
Usiweza chini.
Mozart Bet Cup finale kubwa.
And authorities in Embakasi North Sub-County in Nairobi have intensified Operation Tunyonde, targeting illegal gambling machines blamed for addicting young people. During a crackdown conducted at the Dandora Deputy County Commissioner's office, 10 gambling machines were confiscated and banned. Among those destroyed were 3 machines reportedly owned by a police officer who unsuccessfully attempted to save them. The Embakasi North Deputy County Commissioner Thomas Bett warned the public servants against engaging in illegal activities while leading efforts to curb crime. And our parents welcomed the operation, saying that the machines have contributed to addiction among children and pushed some into theft within their homes. Bet pledged to sustain the crackdown and called on other sub-county stakeholders and Kenyans to unite in eliminating illegal gambling and protecting vulnerable youth from exploitation nationwide.
Tuko hapa katika harakati ya kuziteketeza mashine hizi ambazo zinaitwa mashine za kamari ama vinyonde kama zinajulikana mtaani. Hivi leo tunachoma mashine takriban 10 ambayo ilinaswa hapa Dandora. Wiki 2 zilizopita tulikuwa upande wa Kariobangi na tuliwapea onyo kwamba tutafika upande wa Dandora mpaka tuhakikishe kwamba mashine hizi zote ambazo zimekuwa ni chanzo cha uozo katika jamii yetu vimetolewa zote, ili watoto wetu wapate kusoma, kwa sababu wengi wao hawaendi shuleni wakicheza michezo hii ya kamari.
Kitu ya kwanza tuna appreciate sana hii initiative yenye ofisi ya DCC inafanya ya kuweza kunasa hizi mashine za kamari, kwa sababu kitu ya kwanza hii kitu imekuwa very toxic kwa community yetu.
Saa ingine wanachukua tu, ukiwacha pesa unaweza kuta pesa imeenda wapi, imechukuliwa. Ukimuuliza
tumesema leo ni leo. Siwezi sema hii kitu ni mbaya, lakini sisi kama vijana imetuweka idol sana.
Hizi vitu zinafaa kuisha cause zina waste vijana wengi, like wana waste tu pesa, mtu hatawezi jisaidia nayo. Pesa kidogo yenye amepata anaona tu aende acheze.
Residents under the Kiambu Town Residents Association are preparing to petition Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi seeking urgent intervention to protect a 3-hectare parcel of public and land that claim, of course, is under threat of illegal acquisition. The residents say the land currently hosts administration, police officers, residential quarters, and plays an important public role. They are also calling on both county and national leaders to preserve the land and consider developing modern housing for the officers stationed there. The association warns that any takeover of the land could lead to the demolition of key public facilities, including a church, an ECD center, and several housing units occupied by AP officers and their families. They're now urging the county government to clarify the ownership status of the land, prevent encroachment, and ensure it remains available for public use and community benefit.
Kama wiki mbili ambazo zimepita kwamba tuhame hapa na tukaambiwa ya kwamba hii kanisa itabomolewa na ikibomolewa tulikuwa tunapewa option na engineer ambaye anasimamia affordable houses zenye zinajengwa hapa katika hii ukuta ya kanisa na affordable houses. Akasema ya kwamba tutoke mahali hapa bila barua. Kwa sababu ya mambo hayo ndio tumekuwa tukifikiria tuweze kuenda kwa gavana wetu Daktari Kimani wa Matangi ndio tuweze kutafuta haki yetu, na tuna hakika ya kwamba tutapata haki yetu ya kukaa mahali hapa.
Na kuambia kwa hakika kuna mtu ambayo anajifanya yeye ni mkubwa, anakuja kufurusha watu. Kuna mtu binafsi anajifanya yeye ni mkubwa katika hii serikali. Anataka kufurusha hawa askari wetu, anataka kufurusha hii kanisa letu ili akuje achukue hii shamba, ajenge vitu zake, auze, atuache hapa na shida.
Unrest in schools continues to disrupt learning across the country, with leaders warning that the crisis is causing lasting harm to education. Students have been urged to remain focused on their studies and avoid being driven by emotions that have already led to destruction in several institutions. Speaking at Birunda Primary in Kiminini constituency, that is during the opening of new classes, the area member of Parliament Kakai Bissau reiterated the need for all stakeholders to seek an amicable solution to the growing unrest. Now, Trans Nzoia remains among the hardest hit counties, with some schools closed indefinitely and learners sent home. The MP has called on parents to engage directly with their children as part of efforts to restore calm as well as safeguard education.
Mashule zetu, there's been a lot of unrest. Tunataka tuambie wanafunzi wetu, tafadhali musichome shule. Mnasikia wanafunzi? Musichome shule. Lakini vile sisi tukiwa viongozi tujiulize kwa nini the unrest in our schools. Is it that there's so much pressure na hawa watoto? Do we need more advisors in terms of psychologists in our school? Do we need to have maybe badala ya kuwa tuna half term, pengine pia tukuwe na quarter term, ili watoto hawa wanaenda nyumbani pia watulize kidogo ndio waache kuchoma mashule. Nyinyi wanafunzi, shida yenu ni nini? Mbona mnachoma mashule? Halo? Mbona mnachoma mashule? Mnachapwa? Tafadhali msichome mashule, sawa sawa? Sisi tukiwa wazazi, tukiwa viongozi wenu, tunaenda kuangalia vile tunaweza ensure that there is very little pressure kwa nyinyi ndio mwache kuchoma shule, sawa sawa?
And Safina Party is facing a fresh turmoil at the coast just days after party leader Jimmy Wanjigi toured Mombasa. A leadership dispute has erupted within the regional branch, with members alleging exclusion and marginalization during a meeting convened by party officials. Speaking in Kongowea, disgruntled members raised concerns over transparency and inclusivity in party affairs. They accused the coast branch chairperson of stifling growth and undermining consolidation efforts, warning that internal divisions and lack of cooperation could weaken Safina's push ahead of the next general election unless urgent measures are taken.
first chapter does not recognize masquerades and self-centered individuals who prioritize self-interest and greedy, which pulls back the party instead of teamwork, integrity, and ambitions, chose to focus on division and mayhem.
Kuna mkutano wetu ambao ulihaijakiwa, ambayo tulikuwa tufanye na tukashangaa, wengine viongozi tumetolewa, hatukuhusishwa, wakaitwa watu ambao hata si memba wa Safina na hatuwajui, tukaona tumewekwa kando. Kwa hivyo jambo hilo tumelikashifu, na nikiangalia hapa Mombasa kuna memba wengi ambao wanahama UDA, wanahama ODM, wanatamani kuingia Safina.
Tulikuwa na ubishani sana mimi na yeye kipindi nilipomwambia siwezi hudhuria mkutano wako, kwamba mkutano si wa haki wala si wa halali. Kwa hivyo nasema namkataa bira kwa malengo mabaya kwa chama cha Safina, kwa kupoteza mwelekeo ndani ya chama cha Safina.
Tokea tuanze kukaa mikutano hapa Mombasa, hakuna siku amejitokeza, amekuja kwetu, wala kupiga simu, wala kutaka kujua kwani inaendelea nini. Tunashtukia juzi baada ya kupanga mkutano sisi na ofisi kuu, yeye amechukua jukumu kuchukua mabepari kama yeye kwenda ofisi ya juu, kwenda kujitambua kwamba yeye ndiye chairman wa Safina Party, ambapo hata sura zake sisi kama wanachama hatujaziona.
Uongozi wa Biria umeenda kutufanya kwamba wengine wapoteze matumaini kwa hii chama, na sisi hatumtaki, kwa sababu nguvu yetu sisi ni tujenge Safina iwe chama kubwa ambao itakuja kumkomboa Kenya.
Patrick Biria must go.
And in sport, Kenyan amateur golfer Alela surged to the top of the leadership or the leaderboard after a brilliant opening round play at the Royal Classic, carding a 6-under par 66 at the Royal Nairobi Golf Club to take one-shot lead in the second leg of the Sunshine Development Tour East Africa Swing season. The Nyali Golf and Country Club golfer produced a composed and clinical performance highlighted by an eagle and 6 birdies. Although the tournament has attracted a strong field of 96 golf players drawn from 11 countries as they battle for Sunshine Development Tour points. The winner will pocket over 2 million Kenya shillings.
9 holes, got it to 5 under through 10. Just slipped up a little on the back 9. The 2 par 5s, both of them I put it in the rough, just not too far from the fairway, but the rough's quite thick around here, so just trying to get a wedge and hack it out. Even that wasn't really coming out, so it was hard work, but yeah, I played nicely overall. Some very good and some not so good.
And Harambee Starlets head coach Baldino Demba has challenged her players to stay focused and avoid underestimating Lesotho as Kenya targets a third-place finish at the Four Nations tournament in Zambia today in the evening. Despite Kenya enjoying a significant advantage that is in the FIFA rankings, Baldino Demba insists her side must prove their superiority on the pitch and deliver a disciplined performance to secure bronze medal ahead of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations preparations. All right, we call it an afternoon. I'll be preparing more for you and I'll get to see you at around 4 p.m. So stick around. Thank you so much for always keeping it TV47. I close the TV47 at 1 bulletin. My name is Linda Alela. Good afternoon.